Okay, well, I'm now joined by Thom Graham from Simtech, who's going to talk us through the features of one of your drills of a range. So, where did it start from then, Thom, a few years ago?
So, Simtech were conceived by George Simon in 2016. He identified a need for a tine drill to work in the more UK and European climes. So he started off with a rigid 3 metre machine, which has remained our bread and butter as such for since then. We've got about 300 of those machines out working in the field now, up to now.
Range of soils, range of
conditions? In a range of soils, range of conditions, arguably probably working where you shouldn't be with a drill, but they are performing, and the customers that do own them love them, and they keep coming back time and time again. A lot of repeat custom. So yeah, the machine we've got here today, it's a bit of our flagship, the TS600 AP, dual product. So it's got a 1700 litre hopper, split 75-25, so 1250 roughly in the main tank, so plenty enough for a couple of bags of seed. We've moved over recently to the horizon metering system. It's a cartridge type system, so you can take it out, change the rollers, and then the control system that we've developed is the Fentech Agri by MC Electronica. So that will come with you can buy that either in the basic format with a screen, or it's isobus ready as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, fairly universal, fairly easy to adapt into a system that you're farming.
Fairly universal. Yep. Completely adaptable. I mean, what you see here, the leading sprung-loaded disc, which cuts a nice slot for the spring tine and T-boot behind. This featured throughout the range, so whether you buy a 3 metre mechanical drill or an all singing all dancing folding machine, this remains the core product.
Okay, so you're basically cutting through any residue or any.
That's right, yeah. So for example, if you're sowing behind the combine, bit of chopped straw or whatever, that'll cut through it, or into cover crops as well. I mean, the noticeable points on this machine is quite a high chassis. So if you're going into cover crops sort of yay high, you've still got that trash flow.
So residue clearance isn't too much of an issue then?
No. Also, I mean, Fentech Agri don't just produce seed drills. We also, we've developed a crimper for this year. So for real dense cover crop, not that we would struggle, but you can crimp beforehand and then use the drill afterwards.
So then we get to your main working element of the machine itself, which has got a fair parentage, really.
It does indeed, Philip. It does indeed. So the T-boot, for those that don't know, and in the Blue Peter moment, here's one I created earlier. Creates an inverted T-slot in the soil. And what you're looking to create is a shelf for that seed to land on, and also any starter fert. So rather than cutting a slot in as a furrow where fertilizer or seed can pile on top of one another, you've got a nice shelf for it to sit on. We're not looking to close that slot either, and with the tine, just providing a bit of vibration helps to mineralise some of those nutrients, and then create a microclimate for that seed. And what you'll find, and what a lot of our customers have said, that crops emerge quicker and germinate quicker with a Simtech machine over competitors.
So the amount of crumb is dictated a little bit by the soil itself, but then you can actually help that along the way.
Yes, yeah.
The actual.
Yep, that's right.
Itself.
Yep.
And depth control and maintenance of?
So depth control on this particular machine is done on an adjustable cam here. So you'd set that up in the field, pull the plunger turn the cam round. Obviously, when it's on the deck, a bit difficult to do at the moment. And then once you're set, depth is fairly uniform. On these larger machines, for contouring, you've got a centrally pivoted mounted 3 metre section on the 600 anyway, with 7 degrees of travel in either direction.
So you're basically getting true contouring.
You are,
up
yeah.
and down,
Yeah.
inside and out.
Yeah, as much as you can do with a fixed time drill, obviously.
Yeah.
True contour following, these would need to be individual. But
Yeah. Okay, and the roller, is this one of a number? Is that the roll flex type of flexible leaf can be quite useful to help to self clean?
yes, that's exactly it. So because these move and flex, it helps to keep it clean. Arguably, if you're in conditions where you shouldn't be in the field, it will clog, but in normal sowing conditions, that will keep itself clean.
Okay. And the way these are positioned looks to be so that you're actually not over the top of that.
No, that works either side of that T slot. Like I said before, we're not looking to compact that seed. We're looking to press either side of it like a concave wheel, that sort of thing. Similar sort of theory.
So overall, then we've got a relatively subtle operation going on here to create a zone for the seed itself, and then gentle consolidation, and the rear change can just drag a little bit of crumb and tilth over the top if necessary.
That's correct. The whole Simtech, Fentech philosophy is move as little amount of soil as possible. Hence why you haven't got sizable wings on the side of the T-boot. You're only looking enough to put that seed in and any starter fert that you're placing.
Okay, so a fairly simple way of seeding a range of crops, I guess.
It is. It's simple. The customers love them. It's easy to use.
And crops ranging from small seed through to beans and...
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, a lot of your sort of SFI mixes, that sort of thing, cover crops. You name it.
Yeah. So from that point of view, you could establish a cover ahead of a spring commercial crop then with this at whatever depth, whatever degree of disturbance you wanted, and then follow that on with the spring sowing if necessary.
Yeah, that's right. So when you're drilling, you're looking to get about 1 inch into the ground. But yeah, that'll sow your cover crop, and then you could go back over it, get your main crop in.
Yeah. And relatively low power requirement then as far as the operation's concerned.
Yeah, so for our smallest drill in the pasture and cereal range, 2.4, you're looking about 80 horsepower. This particular machine, 170 is what we'd recommend. If it's going up into, obviously depending on topography and soil types, we'd probably recommend 200 for anything with sizable hills, heavy soil, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I guess a little bit as well, lift capacity determined with a hopper on the back. If you were balanced with your crimper on the front, that would be quite nicely spread around the tractor, wouldn't it?
Yeah, what we also offer in the range, we have an 1800 litre single or dual product hopper, so we can get some of that weight actually working for us on the front rather than just carrying around
would
a
that
lump.
Supplement this one then, or would that be instead of? Or?
It would be instead of, so it'd be a hopperless frame behind and then pipes down the side to blow it to the back, distribution head. Option for the hopperless frame, you can put a large applicator on the back, so if you wanted to do a third product essentially, there's that availability to you. It's proved quite popular.
Yeah. That makes sense. And so generally then you can really almost build a drill unit to suit what the actual customer would like. Not bespoke, but tailor it to their actual requirements?
We can. We're a very forward-thinking company. For example, the 3-metre pasture and cereal drills we're now up to about 7 variants, which includes a dual fertiliser tank, also electric drive in some of the mechanical side of it as well. So, which again is proving popular. So yeah, if anybody's got any requirements, we always try to cater for those.
Okay. And with regard to the last season, autumn and now spring, it's been pretty challenging moisture-wise. What have your customers been finding with these units?
A lot of our guys, or the customers that we've dealt with, they've been able to go arguably when you shouldn't be in the field. Being a tine seeder, relatively lightweight, it extends your drilling window. So the sort of calendar farming approach with our customers is not so much anymore. They go when they want. So a lot of our customers have got on well this year, or like a tail end of last year as well. So
I think as you're moving into a reduced till system, it's quite important to have flexibility in the kit, because sometimes for a start the soils need a little bit of help to get them moving down that line, particularly if you've been in very intensive tillage before.
Yep.
I guess in this would also have quite good capability to work into a shallow cultivated if you've spread muck and had to incorporate it and stuff like that.
It does, and it will work in cultivated soil. What they normally do is just have those discs working a little bit shallower on the front. We do have an option of a packer roller instead. So if you're working in cultivated soil, you can just have that to level it out, help the times out behind.
So that would be instead of the disc?
That would be instead of the disc, yeah. Because it's because you're in cultivated soil, it's going to be running a little bit easier for your tines anyway, so you can do away with the discs.
So that would firm the soil up a little bit to drive the residue stores on the sea, would help to drive it through?
Yep, that'll do that.
And do you find some people like to have an option of both depending on what they're going into?
Yes, they do, especially contractors. They don't know what they're going into next. They like that flexibility as well. So the option of dropping out those discs and putting a packer roller on, brilliant. Best of both worlds, isn't it?
No, it's good, yeah. So then if necessary, if part of the farm policy is to, say, stimulate volunteers, get rid of or help to control slugs and to also help to germinate blackgrass by a relatively less intensive tillage but quite a regular amount of it, then the drill's still going to be able to cope with that pretty well.
It'll still cope with it, and I'm sure you'll be able to help me out a little bit with this, Philip, won't you? As Fentech also produce and sell till-sow equipment, which I'm sure you know all about. So we have a rake in the range that also has a rear packer roller on. That's looking to work about 30 to 50 mil. Just got that packer roller behind, just to firm that down, that soil, and you have a uniform
starting point. And to stimulate, if not weed seeds, also volunteers can be quite, particularly with seed rate.
That's correct.
And I think that's something that it's important for any drill really, to be able to cope with that range of starting points.
Yes.
So that from a farmer's perspective, they can make best use of all the kit they've got, but at the least amount of soil movement possible.
Yeah. That's why we fully believe in the till-sow range of low disturbance legs, which designed by yourself. That we also try and sell the system to customers that, if you've got a pan there, you need to address it. You can't just ignore it and say, I'm direct drilling, I can't.
I think that's a common theme from all these interviews today, really, from the start this morning, has been that there isn't one specific thing you must do. It's a question of minimising soil movement, but giving the roots and the crops the best possible chance to do their job.
Yes. Yeah, you've got to have a pragmatic approach to it.
ultimately we know that it's the crop roots and the soil biota that's going to structure our soils in the end, but they might need a bit of a hand sometimes.
Yes, yeah.
No.
So it would seem a very simple but effective, quite low draft and relatively, I guess, reasonable cost way of doing it in this respect.
Yes, it is. There's a very few wearing parts on there. Not a lot going on. This is kept reasonably free, again, to help with that trash flow. We believe it should be working in the toughest of conditions as well. So if you're going into a cover crop, you want all this area free anyway, don't you?
With plenty of freedom, and you've got tungsten where you need it to maintain the geometry, which is very important, I guess. But probably as much clearance as you're ever going to get to get residues through here. That would be pretty important as well, isn't it? So.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, well, Tom, many thanks for talking us through the machine, one of a number in the range. What does the range go from to?
What width-wise?
Yeah.
So smallest pasture and arable drill we produce is 2.4 metres wide, or working width, up to 6 metres at the moment.
Yeah. Well, thank you for talking us through the range, the flexibility of it, and the simplicity of it.
Thank you for having me, Philip.
Well, for the rest of the show.
If anybody would like any further questions answered, you can come and visit us on our stand. Is 1121.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers.